Johnson, and today we're going to be seeing the men's all-around competition. And I think really probably any one of 5 or 6 gymnasts could win, including the former world champion Grigory Misyutin from Ukraine, or any one of 3 Russians, really.
Misyutin was the top qualifier in yesterday's competition, which certainly speaks for his chances here. He emerged about the same time as the great Vitaly Sherba. In fact, it surprised everyone. The year before the Olympics, he actually beat Sherba at the World Championships in the all-around. He does beautiful gymnastics and, in fact, has one of the most spectacular vaults we have ever seen. Very few gymnasts can even attempt this vault, much less do it this well. And I agree with you, Bart. Any one of the Russians could contend for the all-around. But Alexei Voropayev was second in the all-around at the World Championships this year, and though he made some mistakes yesterday in the competition, you can tell if he puts it all together, he'll be right in there.
Now let's talk about American Scott Keswick. He has a tradition of coming into these events and really blowing it in the preliminary competition, then coming on in the finals of the all-around and doing reasonably well.
We think we figured it out. He needs to get mad enough to compete well, and he certainly has a lot to be mad at in yesterday's competition, so maybe he'll come on like gangbusters here.
He did very well in the first event, the still rings, which is one of his best events, but by the time he got to the parallel bars, he fell off on a very simple move and then made 3 more major errors in the all-around competition. So maybe Scott Keswick for the United States could get it together again today. Once again, it's the all-around, which means the top 16 gymnasts will compete. They advanced here from the team competition. No more than 3 gymnasts from any one country. And it's new life. No scores will carry over from the team competition. The gymnasts with the top cumulative score in the floor, pommel horse, rings, vault, and parallel bars, high bar as well, will be the all-around champion. First up in the men's all-around competition from the United States, this is 24-year-old Cheney Humphrey. He had a birthday yesterday here in St. Petersburg. One of the more powerful members of the U.S. team. Got his degree from UCLA in physiological science and plans to attend medical school after the 1996 Olympics.
I like this in his bio, Bart. It says, attributes his strength to a broken leg and 2 broken feet, because that was the only time during that recovery that he lifted weights. And of course, we see the result here. Very nice double layout. Good, strong opening tumbling run for Cheney.
Competed for UCLA. Recently, the men's program at UCLA has been dropped. Men's gymnastics in the colleges in the United States is suffering a great deal. UCLA produced so many great champions like Tim Daggett and Peter Vidmar, Mitch Gaylord, Cheney, Scott Keswick, who's competing here. Gymnastics, a non-revenue producing sport, and many colleges are cutting it out of their programs. Cheney was 24th in the all-around at the World Championships in Australia this year. Finalist on the high bar.
Excellent routine, especially, this is not one of his strongest events. His strongest events are yet to come. This was really the best part of the routine. Very high, double layout, certainly uses his power to his advantage. Maintains a nice stretched position throughout.
Score for Cheney Humphrey, a 9.15, a little bit low, but it's always difficult to be the first performer. This is one of our favorites in the all-around competition, Alexei Voropayev. What a powerful tumbler.
Unbelievable. Focusing double back in laid out position.
Watch this front tumbling combination.
We're seeing many of the gymnasts attempt more front tumbling, trying to get the bonus points from the judges. That's one of the more difficult passes because he adds the 1.5 twist on the final element.
Very good at sticking his landings.
And it's going to come down to that. And trying to win the all-around, they really must strive to be perfect on all their landings.
For the United States now, Scott Keswick on the floor. He had difficulty here yesterday on his last tumbling run.
A very nice opening tumbling run. Here's his front tumbling sequence. And sometimes he's a little bit off on the technique, but did it very well here.
That wasn't exactly what he had planned. He was hoping to do a twisting somersault on the third of those front layouts,
which requires perfect technique. Otherwise, you cannot get in the air long enough to add the twist. This is one of his best passes in the routine. Right down the side. Watch this. Oh, he didn't do it. And I think he needed that in terms of his difficulty, especially since he didn't add the full twist in the middle tumbling run.
So far, he's already modified 2 of the 3 passes. Let's see what he does here on his last tumbling run. Should be a double back somersault. There it is.
A little bit short on rotation. He doesn't quite get the lift he needs to into the somersault, and always struggles a little bit with rotation on that final tumbling run. Here he is supposed to perform 2 layout somersaults and then a full twist on the final one, and you could see he was not in a good position in the second one to even go for the full twist.
The score for one of our favorites in the all-around, Voropayev, a 9.6. We'll be back with Scott Keswick's score. Back at the Goodwill Games men's all-around competition from the United States, Scott Keswick, a 9.25 for the floor exercise routine. Now up on the floor exercise from China, this is Wang Dong. He's 19 years old. A very powerful tumbler and vaulter, typical of the Chinese team. It's one of his best events.
They use such beautiful technique and make the most difficult skills, like that double twisting double back, look so easy and effortless.
So many great Chinese gymnasts over the years. Li Ning, winner of 3 gold medals in Los Angeles at the Olympics, and Tong Fei, Li Xiaoshuang. They always have the perfect combination of power and technique.
Part of that power comes from them utilizing everything. Watch how he pushes through his feet, through his hands when he tumbles, and gets an unbelievable height.
Up on the pommel horse now, Grigory Misyutin, one of the favorites in this competition. Former world all-around champion, winner of 4 medals at the Olympics in Barcelona, 4 silver medals. Great opening sequence. Look at the work on one pommel. Travels across to the other pommel, and he'll stay on there, getting bonus points from the judges for not reaching down to the end or to the other pommel.
Bart, this event always was difficult, but with the new code of points, it's even more so. They're requiring a higher level of difficulty. So it's even more demanding.
He's going to score very well. You know, in the last year or so, we haven't seen Misyutin in the best shape. But he looks terrific here and primed to win this all-around title. There's the intricate handwork on one pommel. The gymnast is required to go around with 3 hand placements on one individual pommel. The judges are watching for that. Grigory Misyutin off to an outstanding start in the all-around competition. 9.7 on the pommel horse. Score on the floor for Wang Dong, 9.05. Alexei Nemov now from Russia, 5 feet 8, 154 pounds. He's tall for a gymnast. On the pommel horse, being tall is an advantage. You can have a long, fluid swing. Notice the slashing legs in the Thomas flares. Very difficult combination, working without the pommels, and then up to the pommels. That's great stuff.
Beautiful routine, loaded with difficulty.
He really has a lot of style. Here's the flares. Notice he's not touching the pommels as he travels across the horse. That makes it even more difficult. Hopping, a half turn, right here, over the pommel, and a half turn back. Boy, that was great. The score for Alexei Nemov, 9.7, which ties him with Grigory Misyutin in this first round. Now from Russia, another one of the favorites. All three of the Russian gymnasts here are favorites. Yevgeny Shabayev was in the World Championships this year, 5th in the all-around in Australia.
We continue to remark on the unbelievable technique that the Russians use in every event.
Oh, that was the pass
that Scott Keswick was supposed to perform. Much more difficult pass, which will earn bonus points from the judges.
The floor routine for men lasts between 50 and 70 seconds. The gymnasts have to cover the entire floor area. They have to show front tumbling elements, back tumbling elements. And then the judges require this thing, which is rather silly, I think, is a balance on either one foot or one hand. Well, no gymnast would dare do a one-handed handstand at this point in the routine. So they all do an arabesque to catch their breath, fulfill the requirement, and then their last tumbling run.
Very nice landing. It really is remarkable that they all use the exact same technique on this double layout. They obviously have perfected that, and they teach it to every athlete coming up, and they all perform it so well. Here's his two front layouts, and then he goes into a front with a full twist. The timing is very difficult to punch the floor at the exact right time to get up in the air.
The score, a 9.5 for Yevgeny Shabayev, which puts him in 5th place. Let's take a look at the leaderboard at this point. Tied for first, Grigory Misyutin, Alexei Nemov with a 9.7. In third, Alexei Voropayev from Russia. 4th is Rudnitsky with a 9.525, and then Shabayev's 9.5 puts him in 5th place. Competition continuing here. Alexei Voropayev on the pommel horse. He fell off of this pommel horse in the preliminary rounds yesterday. Let's see if he can make the exercise today. Already has a gold medal from yesterday's team competition. Looking to add another medal here in the all-around. Oh.
Almost caught his legs on that one, but pulled it out.
He seems pretty focused today because there were a couple of points in that routine where he could have easily fallen off, and yet he gutted it through. This is a requirement. Those are called scissors. A little shaky here at the end. You see his feet dragged across the horse. He was out of balance, and yet continued up to a handstand and basically muscled the dismount. Now for the United States on the pommel horse, Scott Keswick get a 9.25 in his first event, the floor exercise.
And like Voropayev, he also fell on this event.
The score on the horse for Voropayev was a 9.1, not his best effort there. Oh, he kept it going. He tends to work really hard on this event. You can tell it's taking a lot out of him. Oh, no. He's going to have to muscle this out.
Oh. What a shame. And you were right. He was really working hard throughout the entire routine. And it's like it just caught up with him by the end. That's too bad because he was so determined not to make a mistake here.
He's going for a very difficult move that's worth a lot of bonus points. See what happened here. Oh, he just caught his leg as he was going over on the flare. Very simple mistake. But as you said, he was working so hard towards the end of the routine. When he got out of balance, he really couldn't recover. The score for Scott Keswick on the pommel horse, a very disappointing 8.55. Now from China, Wang Dong. At a 9.05 in his first event, but this is a very good event for him. Look at the body line and the extension.
He's perfectly straight from his shoulder down to his toes and swings way out, getting great amplitude. And there's no brushing of the horse in the pommels. You often even hear that on some of the other gymnasts.
Because of the new rules, it's so hard to get bonus points from the judges. It's like the gymnasts are on the pommel horse all day long just to get the difficulty in. Good job. In addition to Grigory Misyutin's World Championship in the all-around in 1991, he also won this event, the still rings. Tied for the first place here. He has a very good combination of strength moves as well as swing moves. There's a back roll to an iron cross, and another back roll to an L cross and a pull-out. Now watch this move. He's going to press to a plunge with the body straight and then press to a handstand. That's amazing. The score back over on the pommel horse for Wang Dong, 9-3.
Beautiful double layout with a full twist. Incredible how he keeps his body so tight and so straight in the dismount.
He really showed terrific control in this entire exercise.
And adds style to it as well.
This is that strength move. It's a straight body press to what we call a plunge. So difficult to hold, and yet to press it to a handstand, nearly impossible. The score for Grigory Misyutin, a 9.75, which will put him in the lead in the all-around for the time being. Alexei Nemov now on the rings from Russia. He was tied for the lead after the first rotation. Grigory Misyutin had a 9.75. That's the gymnast he was tied for. For a more than a 9.75, Nemov could move back into the lead.
You have to be impressed with this gymnast. Only 18 years of age, 5'8", very, very tall for a gymnast. And look how he handles the height and uses it to his advantage.
This is great. 2 doubles in a row, right in within the rings.
Oh, he really pulled that out. He was a little off going up and he just corrected it and then came up with a great landing.
This move, double within the rings, is just like a dismount, except you hang on, and instead of landing on the ground, you kind of grind your shoulders as you go through the bottom and finish in a handstand. Great sequence. On the pommel horse, Yevgeny Shabayev now. At a 9.5 in 5th place in the all-around at this point. Very impressive mount sequence on one pommel.
He is really having a great year of competition. 5th all-around at the World Championships, 3rd all-around at the European Championships, and doing so well here.
This is an amazing mount. Watch how long he stays on this one pommel. He doesn't reach to the end. He doesn't reach over to the other pommel. Takes a tremendous amount of precise hand placements and strength. There's the Russian champions. On the left of the screen there, Kochenkova, Favrishnova. In the right center of the screen. It's a very important event for Cheney Humphrey from the United States. As you see there, 7th place after the first rotation. Had a 9.15 on the floor. Score for Shabayev on the pommel horse at 9.725. That'll put him in 2nd place behind Grigory Misyutin. Nameoff on the rings had a 9.4.
Cheney only scored an 8.8 in this event yesterday, so he'd really like to improve on that today.
Oh.
He's so strong, he can just pull it out. Really hit the pommel hard.
Yeah, he's having to improvise a little on this routine. It's not going quite the way he planned. Like Scott Keswick, they have plenty of difficulty in the exercise, but the rhythm and the line and the execution is not quite what you see from the Chinese gymnast or the gymnast from Russia. They will not score very well because, as you can tell, they kind of struggled and hacked through the routine. He clipped the pommel as he was working his way back across the horse. The judges require the gymnast to touch all 3 sections of the horse. The score on the pommel horse for Cheney Humphrey, a low 8.8. So let's take a look at our standings. After the 2nd rotation, Grigory Misyutin from Ukraine holds on to the lead over 3 Russians, Shabayev, Naimov, and Voropayev. Let's go back to the studio and Nick Charles and Fred Hickman. Gymnastics competition continues here in St. Petersburg. It's the men's all-around here at the Lenin Sport and Concert Complex. This is Alexei Voropayev.
This was his best event in the qualifying round yesterday during the team competition, 9.8.
Currently in 4th in the all-around competition. The gymnasts compete today on all 6 events. The total score for those 6 events will determine the all-around winners.
Excellent display of strength moves. Beautiful control on his swing. Laid out, double, a full twist, and perfect body position and a great landing. He is so well known for those landings.
He really has beautiful technique in this.
Perfect form and a trademark landing. He really comes up with them, particularly in intense moments, important moments.
The score for Voropayev, a 9.8 in that exercise on the rings after that terrific landing. Now Scott Keswick from the United States in 11th place, did not do well on the pommel horse, had only an 8.55. Maybe he can get it together here.
This is a huge event for him, and I think it's an advantage to follow Voropayev. It'll get him psyched up. He saw a great routine, a great score, and he knows he's capable on this event.
We talked about Scott Keswick having a difficult time in the preliminaries and usually coming up with a big day in the all-around finals. It hasn't looked that way so far today.
This could be a turning point for him.
It really could. This is a great event for him.
Quite confident here.
He's well known to these judges. He's been in the World Championship finals before. Beautiful execution.
and he has an even more difficult dismount than we saw from Voropayev. A double twisting, double back. He can just stick it.
Good for Scott Keswick.
This really is a key moment for him, and it shows that he's got competitive spirit, and it's there. And you can tell he's got a little angry look on his face. Maybe he's ready to go now.
The score over on the rings for Scott Keswick from the United States, a 9.775. So perhaps he's getting his act together here in the third rotation of the all-around competition. Now we're getting ready for not only our leader in the all-around, but maybe one of the highlights of the day. Grigory Misyutin is known around the world as one of the most explosive vaulters of all time.
Absolutely, and this is so exciting to watch, especially if you're a gymnast and you know how difficult this vault is, and you wish you had the power and the speed and everything that it takes to perform this vault.
He got the silver medal at the Olympics in Barcelona on this event. It's a handspring double front. So in all, it amounts to 3 flips, 3 somersaults.
But it's very risky. The men only get 1 vault, 1 attempt. That is absolutely gorgeous. It's just amazing, awe-inspiring. You can go on and on.
He never disappoints us with that. The technique is just remarkable.
It should be physically impossible to get this high off the horse. His technique is perfect. He's so explosive and yet elegant throughout the entire move.
You know, when a lot of gymnasts do this vault, they just hang onto their legs forever. He actually kicks out. Watch here, he's going to kick out right there and look for the ground. That's amazing. Nobody else does it like that. 9.65 the score for Grigory Misyutin on that exciting vault. Now Alexei Nemov, he will vault as well.
We really have the opportunity to see some great vaults in this competition. Watch this. He had trouble yesterday. It's phenomenal. Round off entry vault, half on, front with a half off. They need to come up with a name for that.
It looked like he was going to be out of line on this.
Watch this. It's the round off. He does a half twist on, front flip in pike position with a half twist off. He's only slightly off direction. Very difficult vault. You really have to be right on. When you turn that half twist, the horse better be there so you can really block away and get good height and distance.
We'll come back with his score and where that leaves him in the all-around standings at this point. Remember, a 9.65 for Grigory Misyutin keeps him in first place at this point. Once again, the score for Nemov on the vault, a 9.7, which puts him at this point in second place behind Grigory Misyutin.
Many of the gymnasts are performing that exact combination. Swing to the inverted cross. Look how beautiful his toe point is. Perfect body line. Boy, we are really seeing some great landings on the rings.
He would need more than a 9.875 to go into the lead. That was a nice routine, but that score is a little bit out of his reach, don't you feel?
Absolutely. But he can lock in for second place. It's a strong performance here.
Cheney Humphrey now for the United States on one of his best events, the rings. The score, by the way, for Yevgeny Shabayev, a 9.55 for his ring performance, which puts him in third behind Grigory Misyutin and Alexei Nemov.
He had a very strong performance yesterday, as did the entire American team on this event. It was their first event, and they came out so strong. Needless to say, he has incredible physical strength. Look at the position here. Hips right in line with the rings. He could have held that a little longer.
Cheney's been competing at the international level for several years. In 1989, he was a reserve alternate member of the U.S. World Championship team.
He works very hard, especially on his form and presentation. He's happy with that. Landed a little forward on the dismount, had to take a hop.
Now over to the vault. This is Andrei Khan, member of the team from Belarus. They earned the silver medal in the team competition here yesterday. Russia got the gold, Belarus the silver, the United States the bronze.
Good distance on that vault, but he sacrificed a little bit of height, I think, to get the distance. Would have been nicer to see him get a little more height, block off the horse so he goes up as well as out, but that will still impress the judges, seeing how far he landed from the horse.
So after a rather disappointing first two events for Cheney, the floor a 9.15, the horse an 8.8, he gets a 9.5 on that still ring performance. Now on the rings, Vitaly Rudnitsky from Belarus. In 1990, he was the European junior champion in the all-around. It's a nice combination. Swing to strength move. The rings are swinging just slightly. Be a minor deduction. When you're in a handstand, you need to keep the rings still.
Oh, no, he got hung up on that dismount. Oh, what a shame. He normally does a half twist out of that, and there was no way. He was just trying to get around safely. He was completely hung up when he let go of the rings.
I don't think anyone's more surprised than he is. So the score for Rudnitsky, an 8.9. Andrei Khan had a 9.3 on that vault. Here are our standings after the third of 6 rotations here. Grigory Misyutin hanging on to the lead. Nemov moved up to second place. Shabayev in third, and Voropayev in fourth. Scott Keswick from the United States is in seventh. Vault. 7th place after 3 rotations at the halfway point in this competition.
This is a risky vault because of the landing. It's difficult.
Oh, no.
He didn't do it. He was supposed to do a 1.5 twist.
And he only did a full twist.
But as we said before, you never know what he's going to do on this event, and he just...
The problem with that is the vault that he tried has a 9.5 maximum value. Had he gone for the extra half twist, it would have a value of 9.8, clearly scoring much higher. Hong Dung now on the vault for China. As you see, they're 5th place at the halfway point in this competition.
And they really had a lackluster team competition going on until this event. And the Chinese hit the ball. It was amazing.
Very clean technique on that vault. Maximum score of a 9.5.
Notice the nice body position in the air. It's not the most difficult vault. It's the vault we just saw from Scott Keswick.
So the score for Scott Keswick on that vault, 9.15. So of the 4 performances today, Scott Keswick only hit one well. That was the rings. And as you see there with that peace sign, he has 2 more events to go in this 6-event competition. Now Grigory Misyutin on the parallel bars, currently averaging 9.7 on the first 3 events, having a terrific day. He's our leader in the all-around competition.
And Bart, he has such wonderful amplitude on this event. Just perfect timing on the elements.
Watch the 3rd sequence here. This giant, now watch how much he flies, this 3rd giant. Look at that.
That's called amplitude.
Oh, no.
Oh. Oh, I think that put him in a state of shock as well. That was not to be expected.
This is the strangest thing. This giant was spectacular. Notice how he flies. Now, what happened when he swung through the bottom? It's hard to tell.
His left arm buckled just slightly, and I don't know if the hand slipped first.
It might have, because
buckled.
that's the strangest thing. He'll lose a half a point, which will really hurt his chances here in the all-around. Have to continue the exercise with these beautiful back tosses. But he's as shocked as anyone is.
This is what's most frustrating about gymnastics.
Let's take a look and see what happens here as he swings through the bottom. You really can't tell.
The arm looked like it buckled. His shoulder might have been a little too far back as he swung through the bottom, and it just gave way.
Losing a half a point will really hurt his chances here in the all-around. He's closely followed by 3 Russian gymnasts. So as you look at Alexei Nemov, who's getting ready to perform on the parallel bars now, a very disappointing score for our all-around leader, Grigory Misyutin, an 8.8. The score on vault for Wang Dung was a 9.3. If Nemov scores more than a 9.125, he will take the lead in the all-around competition at this point.
Watch this opening sequence. It's so beautiful. Double back with beautiful form.
His body line in the handstand is just amazing. Notice the long extension all the way through the toe point.
Most people lose their toe point when they perform the double back or the double front. And it's so fast.
That's beautiful.
Great double pike.
So the 18-year-old Alexei Nemov knows it. He's probably going to move into first in the all-around standings here in the 4th rotation.
This really is beautiful. Keeps his legs totally together. Toes stay pointed.
Shabayev now on the vault. 3rd place after 3 rotations, 25 thousandths of a point behind Nemov. It's very close.
Big vault. Very big vault. Kazumatsu with a full twist. That's a double twist in the air. Really difficult to land, but he fought for the landing. Did not give up anything on this. Oh, and just stands it right up.
The maximum score on that is a 9.8.
It's really amazing. He doesn't quite snap his legs into it enough to get the rotation, but it didn't matter to him. He pulled it out.
The score for Alexei Nemov from Russia, 9.775 on that parallel bar routine. That will move into first place for the time being in the all-around. The score on the vault for Yevgeny Shabayev, a 9.65, which means he will move into 2nd place in the all-around, currently behind Nemov and ahead of Grigory Misyutin after that disaster on the parallel bars. This is Cheney Humphrey from the U.S., currently in 9th.
Cheney had a little bit of trouble on the landing of the vault yesterday. Had to take a couple of steps out of it. Looking for a better landing here, and he got it. The value of this vault is 9.5, but what's most important for Cheney is he came out with a much better landing than he had yesterday. Saved at least a couple tenths of a point right there. A little bit low. You can see that his body is entirely below the level of the horse as he finishes.
Cheney plans on competing all the way through the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and then he plans to go to medical school. The score for Cheney-Humphrey on the vault was a 9.2. Alexei Voropayev getting ready for his vault now. You see there what he needs to move into second place. This vault is spectacular. Watch how high he goes.
Double twist. Oh, unbelievable.
The best landing of the day. He won't get the 9.925 because gymnasts just don't get 9.925s on vault anymore, but boy.
This is spectacular. Great distance. Look at him. He looks over to the side to see where he's landed in relation to the marks that the judges have on the mat to reward bonus points for the gymnast who goes way out beyond a certain point.
I like that. It's like showing the judges, I want you to know I'm way out here, guys. Give me a good score. 9.675, the score for Voropayev on that vault, which will put him in third place. Let's take a look at the standings. Naimov moves to first, Shabayev in second, Voropayev third, and Grigory Misyutin dropped all the way down to fourth place after that performance on the parallel bars. Let's go back to the studio now with Nick Charles and Fred Hickman.
So the drama so far at gymnastics is understandably that battle at the top, Fred. A Russian is caught and past the Ukrainian. However, there are 2 critical rotations left.
That's right, and we're going to have them here for
James, Bart Connor, and Kathy Johnson calling the action here. The 3 Russians are in 1, 2, 3. Naimov, Shabayev, and Voropayev. Misyutin had trouble on the parallel bars. He's in fourth. This is his chance to redeem himself on the high bar. There's a very big move coming up here. Over the bar.
Way up above the bar in kite position. Oh. That's too bad. I was going to say right before he went up, his heart must be very heavy after the parallel bars. Such a disappointing result there. And it's next to impossible to come back from that when you're trying to win a competition. Everyone had every expectation that he would win. He's certainly capable of it.
And he came in here really looking focused and intense. And after the mistake on the parallel bars, he caught in close here and was supposed to swing all the way around in a giant swing position on that, but just couldn't do it.
This is what we're used to seeing from Misyutin. Near perfection, triple back, one of the hardest dismounts you can do. Look at the landing.
A lot of disappointed people here for him as well. He's such a popular character in the gymnastics world. That's a shame. Here's our leader in the all-around, Alexei Naimov. Third on the rings at the World Championships. He has a terrific high bar routine, though.
I love the variety of skills.
There's a double over.
He's got big release moves in combination.
Everything he does is big. The guy's 5'8", which is basically a giant for gymnasts. Misyutin's score on the high bar before was a 9.0, so another disappointment for him there.
Watch the dismount. Double layout, the double twist, and a great landing. He's on his way.
If you just looked at his face and his demeanor, he looks like the guy who's going to come away with the gold medal, doesn't he?
This really is beautiful. Double back over the bar and then right into another release move. That's called a ginger. This was the icing on the cake. Double layout, double twist. Oh, and a great landing.
Oh. 9.65, the score for Naimov on the high bar. As expected, the Russians are 1, 2, 3 at this point in the all-around. Shabayev in second after 4 of 6 rotations. As you can see there, if he gets more than a 9.8 in this routine, he will move into first place.
Bart, that's next to impossible. He scored a 9.65 yesterday in the team competition. That was one of the highest scores on this event. He only saw a 9.7 as the highest score here. So he'll have to be perfect. And even at that, he might not have enough difficulty. We'll have to see.
Oh, short of that handstand. Oh, that was a huge mistake. Again. He's really blowing this routine. He's supposed to go over that move there, the Healy twirl, and twice he was short of the handstand. Oh, the judges are going to kill him for that. And now it's all falling apart. Extra swings.
This will allow Mishutin back into the top 3. What a shame. Oh.
Really a silly mistake. That was an outstanding start for the exercise. But right here, you can see he's short of balance in the handstand. Rather than swinging down, he bends his arms, does a layaway and a front uprise, and goes back to the handstand. He's short again and has to do it again. Major deductions. We'll be back with the score for Yevgeny Shabayev on the parallel bars in a moment. Appointment on the parallel bars. Now we go over to Cheney Humphrey from the United States. Shabayev will drop to at least 3rd.
This is an excellent event for Cheney.
Not bad. Another double. The thing about those moves, you do get bonus points for them, but there's almost no way to make them look pretty. Good job for Cheney Humphrey. Three-time member of the World Championship team, did not make the Olympics in '92, had some injuries, and was not at his best that year at the Olympic trials, missed the national championships. Now coming up on a critical performance for Alexei Voropayev on the parallel bars. The all-around battle is very tight. He would need more than a 10.0 to move into first place, so that's out of reach. But he was the world champion on this event in Paris in 1992.
What do you want to bet? He sticks his dismount cold. He has stuck every single one so far in this competition, and as I mentioned, it's one of his trademarks. He can really come up with great landings at just the most important moments.
Score for Cheney Humphrey was a 9.5 on his parallel bar routine for the U.S. Oh. Pretty close.
He wanted it. See?
You can tell he really focused on those landings. Back toss, half turn, back upright straddle cut.
He doesn't have the big amplitude and the finesse that some of the other gymnasts have, but he's got such a competitive spirit. You can really see it. And watch, he does not want to move his feet. Gets those arms up as quickly as possible.
The Russians currently 1, 2, 3 in the all-around. Now to the high bar, Cristian Leric from Romania, just 19 years old. Double over.
Perfect distance from the bar. That's the way that's supposed to be done. And over the bar for the dismount, double twist.
That scares me every time I see it.
You really do think he's going to hang on too long and come into the bar, but on this particular skill, he did it perfectly. Watch this. Double twist over the bar. It's really, really difficult, but it does give your heart a jump.
On the parallel bars now, Scott Keswick from the U.S. As you can see, in 9th place, not having the day that we actually expected from Scott Keswick. The score on the parallel bars for Voropayev, a 9.55. Oh, trouble there.
He pulled it out, but it was very strange. Double front into the Maltese and just dropped below the parallel bars, and he pulled himself back up. That can't feel good on your shoulders.
And here's the move where he fell yesterday. Exactly the same simple move.
But he's going to try and cover this time. He
Mentally, he is
fell.
totally falling apart here. Oh, that's a shame. What a rough day for Scott Keswick. This is a big move here. Front 1 3/4, back up rise to a Maltese.
He was late getting his hands on the bar and then dropped below the bar and came back up.
This is where he just fell down the side, had to glide on the side and recover. Yesterday in the preliminary competition, he fell off in a similar situation. Oh, that's too bad. 9.1 for Scott Keswick on that parallel bar routine. A little high, actually. Here are your standings after 5 rotations. Namoff in the lead, Voropayev second. Miss Houghton moved from 4th up to 3rd. And Cheney Humphrey from the U.S. is in 7th. Round finals, Alexei Namoff, he's our current leader, just 18 years old. He may win it all today.
He is beautiful on this event. Double layout with a full twist on the second somersault. Laid out position.
Out of bounds.
Oh, no. That's a 1/10 of a point off for stepping out of bounds.
Competition is so close, you can hardly afford to give away deductions like that. The Russian gymnasts continue to impress with their style, body line, execution, and technique. The reason they make everything look so effortless is because their mechanics are so good and so efficient that they can do the most difficult moves.
And they train so incredibly hard.
Great
Double
finish.
pipe with a perfect landing. The only mistake, Bart, was that second tumbling run. And remember, he's 5'8", very, very tall, and he's doing a tumbling pass that has 4 elements, a handspring, then 3 layout somersaults, the last one with a full twist. And if he could have just stuck it cold, he would have stayed in bounds, but that's a little risky landing right in the corner.
Congratulations from the coaching staff and some of his competitors. Now one of his closest competitors, Shabayev, from Russia on the high bar.
Kovacs over the bar. Oh, he was a little bit close in, but he handled it and was able to get to that next release move. Beautiful routine, excellent dismount with a good landing. It's really ironic that the event that he missed in this competition was one he's had so much success in. He was 4th at the World Championships on the parallel bars, 3rd at the Europeans, but he comes back so strong.
That's a great combination, back to back.
Great dismount. Double layout with a double twist. Look at the landing. Perfect technique.
The score for Namoff on the floor is a 9.65, which means mathematically Alexei Namoff cannot lose. The score for Shabayev in 9.7. Naimov has the lead. Shabayev will be in second for the time being. The race is with Voropayev and Misyutin for the bronze and silver medals. Cheney Humphrey, as you see there, is in 7th place, having a pretty good competition. Scott Keswick from the U.S., on the other hand, having a very rough day.
This could be a highlight of the competition, something we all look forward to in gymnastics. He's planning to perform 4 release moves in a row, and if he's on, they're fantastic.
He was a finalist at the World Championships this year on the high bar.
There's the second, 3, and the 4th one.
Awesome. Here's the dismount.
Oh, he took it out just a little too far and couldn't stick the landing.
Good finish for Cheney Humphrey.
This really is exciting to watch. It's like a build, one right after the other, and they seem to get higher and higher as he goes.
His coach under the bar, Art Sherlock, the coach at UCLA, former Olympian.
You can really see how small the margin of error is in this shot. That bar is not very big, and he is flying through the air way up above the bar, and he's got to find it each and every time and be in the proper position to go into the next one.
Cheney happy with his 6th and final performance here in the all-around competition at the Goodwill Games. We'll be back with more gymnastics.
Come on, okay.
Naimov, the 18-year-old who will win this competition. No one can catch him, so he's climbed up in the seats to talk with his friends and get a little better perspective. Now from Belarus, Vitaly Rudnitsky. This is his final event, a high bar. Wow. Very high.
And double front pike with a half twist. That's a dismount he had planned to do off the rings, which is where he had trouble in this all-around competition. Didn't quite get it around, but it was beautiful here off the high bar.
This is about as high as it gets.
It's funny, we rarely saw this release move in competition. Now we've seen, in this competition alone, many of the gymnasts are performing it.
It's one of the few E moves on the high bar. Gets the bonus points from the judges. Andrei Khan now from Belarus on the floor, his final event.
Unbelievable. Very open pike position in that Arabian double front. When he warmed it up, he wasn't even close. I didn't think he was going to throw it. He really incorporates more in his floor routine than most gymnasts. Incorporates dance-like skills, trying to bring a new dimension to this event. Watch this little jump right out of that. Triple twist. Very nice level of difficulty in this routine. A nice variety of different types of difficult skills. This is great to see, especially at the end of the routine. Triple twist. Very nice technique. A little low on the landing and a slight hop. That's hard to do at the end of the routine.
Alexei Voropayev now. As you see, they're second place after 5 rotations. However, Shabayev is in second As you see, a 9.175 would clinch the silver medal.
This is what he missed in the competition yesterday, and he wasn't about to miss it again.
Very aggressive here. It's another one. He's too far out.
Well, he will not be happy with this.
He was so aggressive, and you could see right at the beginning that he pushed it too far back over the bar.
You have to hand it to him, though. He does not hold back at all in competition. Most gymnasts would have brought it in very, very close just to make sure they were on the bar.
Oh, maybe an inch and a half, 2 inches.
He was going for perfection, really getting in the right position. He just took it out a little too far.
Well, one of our favorites, Voropayev. We expected him to contend for a medal here. It looks like he will not get one.
Once he made that first release move, I thought he'd have it.
The score for Andre Kahn on the floor was a 9.55. Voropayev a low 9.05 on the high bar. Here is Scott Keswick in his final performance today. Just married a couple of months ago to his former teammate at UCLA, Michelle Hunt. Be nice if Scott Keswick could finish off on a high note today.
This can be a very exciting routine if he's on. This is the most difficult part, and he's right on. Full over the bar, into his release move. He's got a very difficult triple back, risky landing. And he's got it. Great finish for Scott.
Good for him. He had 4 disastrous performances today and 2 very good ones, the rings and the high bar.
This was really nicely done. Notice how he kicks out of the somersault. Just adds a little flair. Difficult triple back somersault. We didn't see many in this competition. He pulls his legs out to the side to get it around. Very strong landing.
I'm exhausted.
You hear him say he's exhausted. I think all the gymnasts are kind of worn out here. As you said, it's hot and the conditions have been rather difficult here in St. Petersburg.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Michelle.
The score for Scott Keswick, a 9.5 in that high bar routine, so good for him. Our last couple of performers here now. This is Wang Dong from China. Always exciting to watch the Chinese team on the high bar.
Big reverse heck. Oh, no. Really didn't do anything in the routine after he broke after the release move. A series of giants and the dismount. He had nice height, certainly adequate, but didn't get his grips onto the bar properly and could not swing all the way up through to the handstand.
So we will go over to Grigory Misyutin, his final event, one of his best events, the floor exercise.
He won the World Championships on this event.
He would need nearly a 10 here to win the silver medal, more than a 9.625 for the bronze.
That was interesting. It's not exactly his pass. He normally adds another element rather than that roll.
Here's another display of his immense strength. so hard to get a score in that 9-6 to 10 range on floor exercise. Here's his artistic rest stop. Arabesque. Waiting for the bell. That signals that he has 20 seconds to complete the exercise. A laid-out double.
That was beautiful.
How do they do it?
Great opening, great ending.
How do they do those layout double backs at the end so beautifully?
This is the pass I love. It's one of my favorite skills. It's a full out, double layout. And he twists the second somersault, staying in that laid out position. And he does it with ease. And something that everyone likes to see, especially the judges. They can put their pencils down. No deduction there at all.
The score for Grigory Misyutin on that floor exercise, a 9.6, so it's not enough to move him back up into the medal standings. There you see it. The 18-year-old Nemov wins the gold. Voropayev gets the silver. Shabayev the bronze. 1, 2, 3 for the Russians. The Americans, Cheney Humphrey and Scott Keswick, finished 6th.